Wired Unplugged.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wired Unplugged episode 42, which is coincidentally the exact amount of time it's taken me to sort my internet issues out to record this episode. And with me is the stalwart hero and very, very patient co-host, Aaron Cooper.
Good day. Winter brings woe to the wired and to the wireless connection. Like I've had the same for the last few days. You've had train strikes to deal with.
Yeah, I mean,
well.
it's not as romantic as it sounds, but I've been in Paris in the snow, and coming home has been affected by train strikes and everything like that. So it was a long and arduous journey, I just hope everybody listening, especially if you're in the UK, is getting on all right, because there's a lot of strikes going on at the moment, which just kind of seem to be affecting all areas of life and everything like that. So gosh, and the trains on a good day. I mean, I can't believe we're starting off and moaning about trains, but trains even on a good day are quite not.
Is there ever a good day? Is there ever a good day?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, look, it's nearly Christmas, so we're getting there now. We're really getting there. We're halfway through December, and my gosh, like a lot happens. We promised everybody we'd talk about the Game Awards a little bit later.
Oh, and we shall.
We shall. But in the meantime, why don't we start by reminding everybody that the last few weeks we've been answering questions sent in by viewers / listeners, admirers, foes, friends. And if you would like to contribute to the show and help change the shape of the show, then you can ask some questions and you can send them in. If you're an emailer, a serial emailer, you can do that, unplugged@wiredproductions.com, or you can tweet us on WiredP for pretty decent train service, or ours that we own at Wired Unplugged. That's like our domain, like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's the Elephant
It's our
Graveyard.
ends. Our ends.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. So I couldn't think of a better backdrop. I don't know why I went to Elephant Graveyard. I don't know where Lion King came from in my
Lion
head.
King, man. That scene though.
Yeah, I live with a Disney adult, so I think slowly but surely every reference of mine that is normally like some sort of Dark Souls thing is going to be replaced with, I don't know, like Lilo and Stitch or whatever. I don't know.
Do you know what? I think a Lion King game in the Dark Souls aesthetic would be amazing. You could do a really dark Lion King. It's dark as it is, right?
Quite dark, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mufasa's not going to respawn at a bonfire, though, is he? He's
exactly.
Gone.
It's based on old Shakespeare as well. Yeah. So
actually, the fact that like you sort of, and I'm sorry, guys, this is spoilers for the Lion King. But the fact that like your dad appears in the stars that's pretty in Dark Souls, to be fair. Yeah. Oh, then maybe they were onto something. I don't know. I know that. Anyway. So thanks everybody. It's nearly Christmas. I hope you wrapped up warm listening to this. There's still time to put the kettle on. You can take us with you. Aaron's been scouring the internet for the best takes on the Game Awards. But first, let's look inward at what's going on at Wired Towers, which are probably if you imagine it in your head, adorned with like icicles and like decorative Christmas lights. The Krispy Kreme cannon is just like frozen over. We'll see what you managed to scavenge.
Wired propaganda.
Love that. Do you know what it is? Yeah, between segments, that is just like a shot of caffeine, isn't it?
It is, especially we're recording this earlier in the day. There's actual natural light outside for once, which is beautiful. We're not recording this in darkness, which is nice. But it does give you a certain pep. It's like,
I'm ready for
the day.
Yeah, exactly. So what have we got going on at Wired this week, Aaron?
Yeah, so this is something that we spoke about on the last two episodes. We've obviously got 2 demos which are available on Xbox right now, which is Gory Cuddly Carnage and Tin Hearts. Some really good news is that those demo periods have now been extended until New Year's Eve. So Perfect. You have more time now. Everyone's starting to wind down for Christmas in some instances, and it just gives people a little more time to go download the demo and spend some time relaxing. Candles lit, lights on, Christmas tree blazing.
I don't know about you, but that is the period of time where I play the most games. That in between Christmas and New Year week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
because it is a time of all the not panic, but all the excitement around Christmas that is wind down. Now it's just a period of just rest, relax, put your feet up, eat some leftovers.
Exactly. I was going to say that's why I play so many games, because I don't think physically I can move. because I'm just like 60% cheese at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a good time to
6% cheese,
yeah,
20% turkey, the rest cranberry.
yeah, hell yeah, and that Paxo stuffing. Other stuffings are available.
Other stuffings are available, yeah, but the Paxo stuffing, it's just got a certain something to it.
That's sage and onion, man. Like, miss me with all that cranberry stuff, man. Maybe if you want to talk to me about my barbaric tasting stuffing, you can email your complaints. Unplugged at wireproductions.com. I think the type of people
like to sponsor us.
Yeah, and if you're Paxo and you want to send over something, yeah, exactly. So yeah, a brilliant time to join some demos and stuff like that, isn't it? So yeah, and I think that's. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to make a cheese board analogy, but the Xbox is the place where you can just with the Game Pass and the demos available and like the early access stuff that Xbox has. It's like, you know, not to play favorites or anything, but I think it's the console for Christmas where if you want to have a little bit of a smorgasbord, you're on the Xbox and you're on the front room.
I think also, you know, it's not spoken about much now, but it's just a really handy feature to have is how quickly you can switch between several games that you have open. And you mentioned it being a smorgasbord, but to be like, it is kind of like a nice charcuterie board, right? Where it's like, I fancy a bit of this right now. Let's go over here, quickly dash to there.
Yeah.
Check out my tasks in Disney Dreamlight Valley, play some gory,
there we go,
Tin Hearts, and then, you know, pop back into The Witcher.
And I love that. I think that's one of the features that you just really take advantage of, like, sorry, not take advantage of, sort of take for granted. And I think as people grow up, you know, when you start a game, you have to go through the loading screen. Like in 20 years' time, you're going to be like, what the hell? I love that.
The only downside it's got for me, and you know, this is the same on, you know, a lot of consoles, because it's the same with Switch, right? If you're playing the game, you usually just put it in sleep mode and then pick it back up again, right?
Yeah.
Is you miss out on the beauty and the feeling of a good title screen. Because it's very rare that you go back, because you know there are games that you finish and then it's like, oh, you get an updated title scrreen, and it's usually quite cool. But now it's like, I don't know, who cares?
What did I say at the beginning of the Resident Evil screen again? Oh, I can't remember. I only clicked on it once.
I don't know.
All right, that's good.
Biohazard.
Isn't it? Right, okay, so we've got an extension of our demos then. That's brilliant news to the new year. All right, what else have we got?
We're getting to the end of the year. There are some awards going on. We had the Game Awards, which we'll talk about in a bit. There are still some awards coming up for Game of the Year, Publisher of the Year that we are in the mix for, which is great. So hopefully we'll have some updates on them before the end of the year. But a really cool article that came out this week. Outlets have started doing, you know, wrap-ups of their games of the year and so on, and what's been the most spoken about. GameSpot did a really nice follow-up article to their Game of the Year's article, which was discussing games that were hotly discussed but didn't make the list but deserve a shout out and
kind of thing.
Yeah, and one of the lead games in that was Arcade Paradise, which is which is it's very humbling, and it is good to see that it has made an impact. You know, you see, you know, the game is doing well, people are enjoying it, but I think when you get the onward validation outside of the traditional news cycle that people have kept the game in mind, it's always quite humbling to say, okay, this has made an impact on some people. It just feels nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's always nice to, you know, you just always assume if you don't win an award that you weren't even considered or something like that. Or, you know, especially like GameSpot, a lot of their awards were like Elden Ring or whatever. So, to see, okay, Paradise mentioned in the same sort of vein is great,
But whilst that is cool, there is more. There is more. So if you are listening to this right now, you will be able to download and play a brand new piece of DLC that's come to Arcade Paradise. It's a brand new cabinet, so you can add it to your arcade setup. And the game itself is called Kung Fury. You may have heard of it before for any gaming aficionados out there. This is actually a very interesting one. We'll talk a bit about what the game is itself, but this is the first licensed game for Arcade Paradise, and we worked with our friends at Hello There Games, who did the wonderful Avicii and Vector with us, which, incredible game if you want to go check it out. This game couldn't be further away from featuring better, though, which was quite a calming, soothing music rhythm game featuring the music of a legend, even though this game does have really good music in. But I think for this one, I think to paint a picture, this is the full name of the cabinet. It's Kung Fury Street Rage. Take what you want from that. The name alone kind of gives you, it gives you a bit of an insight into what the game is. But I'm going to read the description for the game. It's 1985, and the violence is raging in the streets of Miami, as it always is. It's going to take the toughest martial artist cop and three hard as nails enforcers from across space and time to clean them up. Choose your fighter. Pick between 4 characters, each with their own abilities, playstyle, and durability, and start taking out the trash to get as high a score as possible. Fight waves of enemies, traditional arcade style. Use intense 2-button arcade action to master devastating bone-crunching effects. Easy to pick up, hard to master as the waves get faster and more diverse. You get the idea. Interestingly, this is the point as well. Go back to the 80s. Authentic retro arcade gameplay and VHS retro aesthetics, and a synth soundtrack to beat down to, provided by Swedish powerhouse electro sensations Mitch Murder and Joel Eriksson, which is awesome, by the way. Seriously, listen to it.
Yeah, I saw Mitch Murder live once.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. This is so up your alley, Jake, mate.
Well, I actually know the game because I actually watched. So I don't know if you know this. I don't know if this is, on the notes or whatever, but this is based on a film, right? It's based on a film featuring, I can't swear, mother hecking David Hasselhoff and Michael Fassbender's in it as well. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's like a great homage to the 80s kind of like hobo cop type thing, and it's got that synth wave, what do they call that genre that's like ripping off Kavinsky? Outrun, that genre. It's that genre of stuff. But Mitch Murder's a great guy.
You mentioned the Hoff, right? And I think when we were talking about this, one of the things I said to the team as a potential tagline was just no Hoff measures. It was shut down, unfortunately, but
in dramatic style,
surprisingly,
dramatic, cool 80s aesthetic style.
Yeah, but the good thing is, as with the cabinets are full end-to-end games in themselves, right? But in terms of what it adds to Arcade Paradise outside of just the gameplay, there's new goals, objectives, and leaderboards as well. And the leaderboards are always on fire. There's a lot of competition back and forth between people across all the different formats. So this is something that you can pick up right now.
That's really cool. And it's good to see like a licensed game because this game was released in its own right a few years ago. Yeah. So to see it as just part of the, again, charcuterie board of it's a Christmas season. It's the season to just sort of go, what, I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that. There's an advent calendar joke somewhere, isn't there? But
I think just this kind of could make you think and consider what is possible with future DLCs for Arcade Paradise and so on. Without spoiling anything. Mull it over. I don't know.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I don't know if that was a mulled wine thing on purpose, but very good. Very festive.
Yeah, mate. I went on no one needs to know this, but I went on a Christmas thing last week. Yeah. And I enjoyed much mulled wine, much mulled cider, and this thing called a Grinch shot, which was green. Mm-hmm. It was green and tasted just like Pepto-Bismol. Not gonna lie.
Wow, medicinal.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
it wasn't good.
Lots of thumbs down on the Grinch shot. All right, cool. All right, well, thank you.
I don't think it was officially licensed, by the way. Yeah. I think it was the Granch or something like that.
The Granch shot, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, this is the part of the podcast where we answer viewer questions, which it is. But I just wanted to make a quick sort of excuse on his behalf. Mikey Goodman normally does jingles for us, but one thing, in fact, the very first thing that I learned about Mikey Goodman, this is true. he absolutely loves Christmas. He loves Christmas.
Yes.
So that's why he's not available to record another jingle. He's probably out there. I don't know what he's up to. Just
I think he is
doing imaginary snow angels in like a B&M.
I think he could be, Santa.
I can't disprove that. So
neither can I.
Do you know, like,
I've never seen them in the same place.
Well, I just moved house recently, so I've been doing a lot of shopping in like those little like Asda home living or whatever, and like the range and all them shops. If you're not from the UK, it's just like loads of like shops that sell like, I don't know, not quite like a furniture store, but they just sell like little trinkets and that.
Trinkets,
little like weird like candle holders and whatever. Anyway, them shops are on Christmas. I've managed to pick up so many bad like Christmas decorations, like really like classless, like a hermit crab and like whatever. Do you know? And when I pick them up, I think Mikey Goodman would love this. So so what I'm saying is, and this is a sort of PSA to everybody out here. Next time you're out and you see a bad Christmas decoration, think of Mikey Goodman. All right, it's like a charity feel. Think of Mikey, and then
donate your Christmas spirit.
Hopefully, if enough of us can believe in Mikey at the same time, like Santa, he'll manifest and he'll record us the jingle for this. But
he manifested a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I think Leo went to see Sixth perform live. Oh, yeah. Mikey was there smashing it on stage along with the rest of the gang.
Yeah.
He didn't do any jolly tracks.
No.
But I think maybe that is, if he really was Santa, that is probably the best cathartic outlet, right? It's like, I'm going to go be in a metal band.
Yeah. Fly under the radar a bit.
Yeah, no one would suspect the Spanish Inquisition. Do you know what I mean? It's,
exactly. If you did a Slade cover, give the game away, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so it's question time. This is the part of the show where you can send questions to us in the week, and then at this exact point, we answer them. But hey, it's not some sort of one-sided question bombardment. No. It's the festive season. 'Tis the season, like I said. So if you tweet us a question at Wired Unplugged on Twitter or at Wired P for podcast, and then you tag us at #Wired Unplugged. If we answer your question on the podcast, then you can win a key for a digital game for any Wired game of your choice. Really, go and have a look at the Wired back catalogue. It's pretty vast. And yeah,
Arcade Paradise.
Exactly. You want something? Yeah. We go. You go. Oh, I fancy that. That's that new one that they've just been on about. Oh yeah, go on then, get it. You can also email us.
Festive fun time, chill time with Lou, mate.
Exactly. Look.
Yeah.
So it's all out there. So we got some questions. Should we do them at the end, or do you want
I think we'll do them at the end. Do them at the end.
All right then. So after all that kerfuffle, I was just reminding you that it could happen, and now we're going to talk about something else.
Ask a question,
but not right now. Let's talk about the news.
News we stole from Google.
Right. Just going to be honest with you. That's pretty much only one thing anyone's talking about on the internet this week. And it is not Drake's stupid engagement necklace. It is the Game Awards. Right.
I do not know about Drake's stupid engagement necklace. No. I'm now intrigued.
All right. I'll tell you quickly. If anyone listening at home, anyone wants a bit of this. Drake recently made the headlines by commissioning a necklace, a chain or whatever, that he is entitled this art piece, Previous Engagement. And he's made out of 42 engagement rings, each one representing a woman in his life who he was at one point going to propose to, but decided not to.
How old is Drake?
He's not 42, so it's not even one a year, is it? I know. Drake needs to get a different hobby, to be honest.
He needs to take check of what it means to
love.
Commit.
Yeah, no.
To love.
How are you going to be an R&B artist and be that bad at that sort of thing? Anyway, whatever. So shout out to Drake. If you want to come on a podcast and explain yourself.
Rhythm and booze.
Yeah. Right.
Do you know, actually, I once got attacked. By Drake fans. I think there was one E3 Xbox conference where Drake was.
Mm-hmm.
I was sat there in the audience. And they were like, please welcome Drake to do something about something. Maybe Just Dance, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or something. He was there, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I think I posted something just being like, I don't know. I took a photo of him on stage. He was there. I was like, no idea who Drake is. And then I just got bombarded with angry people being like, "Oh, you don't know music." Blah, blah, blah.
You don't deserve to be in this presence.
It's like,
yeah,
jet lagged. I've just got to LA.
Yeah, I still don't care.
Drake is new. It's just, I did research after, and he was just breaking through at that time.
There we go.
It's like,
thanks to the impassioned fans.
Yeah, cheers, Drake.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, Drake.
I'll make a necklace for every single one of the fans that ever attacks me.
Very good.
So, we can enjoy Drake.
Yeah, we can. So shout out to Drake. Drake is exactly the type of guy that would appear on stage at the Game Awards as well. Yeah. Like he's pure.
And did you know that there was actually a PlayStation game that is featured?
No.
Yeah. There's basically it's an explorer guy who travels the world.
Unbelievable.
You know, I'm going with this.
Unbelievable. Uncharted. Yeah.
Drake's Fortune. Yeah.
This is my last Drake fact before we move on. But there's a Drake song that samples the Final Fantasy IX title theme.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah,
wow.
That's true. That's really true. And anyway, so the Game Awards happened this week.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. It's about games, isn't it?
And there was a lot of things happening. So I mean, let's just start off with a quick overview of it from your point of view. First of all, did you watch it kind of live or within the first 24 hours, or how did it happen for you?
Yeah. I watched it the day after.
Yeah. Sensible.
I watched it the day after around 6 p.m. the following day. So within 24 hours, I did not. There was no way I was going to stay awake for that.
No. And
it was a busy
people
week.
Who are listening from around the world, it kind of started, I think, about like midnight.
Yeah, that was the pre-show, right?
3 a.m. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it started about 1-ish. And then I think it concluded about 3:30 a.m. UK time in the middle of a week, a working week. So
yeah, it was meant to be a shorter show, but then Chris Judge won an award, and I'm not gonna lie, beautiful speech, but there was an awkward moment where they were like. The thing that developed throughout the evening was, at the Oscars when people get played off and they start playing the theme tune.
Yeah.
They were working that out with Chris Judge right at the start on what to do, but the way it came in, it just added power and weight to what he was saying. It was like it was a planned emotional message, and the music was building behind him. It was like, yes, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. That's really funny. Trying to play someone off, but it just ends up empowering them.
Yeah. Speaking of Chris Judge, though. They technically not speaking of Chris Judge, but they have just announced a God of War 3. God of War 3. They haven't announced God of War 3. They've announced a God of War series coming to Amazon, which is going to be based on the 2018 game. So the last God of War game.
Yeah. Interesting at the starting there, I suppose, but I guess you could tell a lot of things.
It's interesting to me, and this goes back to what you've said previously as well about the Last of Us TV show as well, is that the game is already kind of a film. And throughout the God of War experience, it's cool as a player to experience, but it's not like Kratos and the cast are lively, chatty characters, right?
Not really, no.
So it's interesting. I do think it does deserve good praise for what it's done, but it'll be interesting to see
how it
what goes on there.
translates and how much budget they're going to need to like make some of the incredibly bombastic set pieces pop on the screen. There's a load of moments when you think about God of War in your head. If you think about an impressive moment, you think, oh, that's a CGI budget and a half. That Rings of Power that Amazon showed, £1 billion flipping pound. That Amazon showed.
There's a really unique look to the God of World.
Yeah.
God of World.
No, that's very good. Yeah.
God of World aesthetic.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how they replicate that on screen.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure that half of the people who made the games, the maps, the level stuff, or would kill for the like. When you're playing the game, you get a sense that a lot of them want to work in TV and film. So hey, maybe there'll be a collaboration. We'll find out. So that was a good little bit of
little nugget.
A little appetizer before we get into this incredibly dense course. So the Game Awards is a bit like that. It is like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet where there's probably some really good things, but you're just too full. Like my brain was just too full. By the time I watched like 15 trailers, my brain just couldn't cope. Even watching really good trailers, I was like, cool, but I think I've got some sort of like tolerance built up now to excitement.
Yeah.
So I
agree, because it's so, not every game can be for everyone, right? And I think the balance is so back and forward that that show can't flow and make sense to every single person out there. There was a lot of games that I saw that I'm like, who is this for? Like, but also, it did get me thinking of, okay, well, within this, it kind of becomes clear of what might be paid versus an organic, exciting inclusion. Because there was a lot in there where it's like,
and so for anyone who's maybe unaware, the Game Awards, despite it being an award show, which you can participate in, and you can be honored by receiving an award, it also shows a slew of trailers, and it's something that as a publisher or a developer you can buy access to for quite an obscene amount of money, to be honest. However, if your games have sort of a topical relevance or anything like that, then your game will be included for free, because obviously you're giving something to them, aren't you? If you're, I don't know, Tekken 8 or whatever, and you're offering Geoff Keighley an exclusive, I'm sure he's not going to say, okay, £65,000, please. So you're right. There was that disparity. But I just think with any of this, I get fatigued. I've got a horrible analogy that I thought of now, but I'm going to tell it you anyway. It's a bit like speed dating, isn't it? Right? Let's say you've got like you're sat there and you have to sit through 50 dates back to back. It doesn't matter if the first 10 are amazing and the last 5 are amazing, and everyone else, you don't care by the end. By the end, you're just fatigued and you just want to go home. Yeah. I've never been speed dating in my life, and I never will. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's like, or just imagine like greeting 50 people and listening to their stories. Like by the end of it, you could greet Barack Obama and you still wouldn't care. You'd be like, all right, mate, nice to meet you, Barack. It's
been a day.
Do you listen to Drake? Anyway, so I guess we'll cut it down by talking about what we enjoyed the most. So anything that stand out to you? Like when I say to you, what impressed you at the Game Awards, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The one thing that I want to do, because it's kind of related. 2 weeks ago, we made some predictions.
Yeah.
Your Elden Ring prediction came true just ahead of the Game Awards.
Prematurely.
Yeah. And my Super Mario movie prediction came to life in the Game Awards. And I think, very, very oddly, I think the Super Mario movie film clip that they showed stood out to me most, because that film looks incredible. I laughed watching the clip, and it's not like stupid laughs. It's because you have the knowledge of how Mario works from playing all the games and stuff. You can see some things that might happen ahead of time and stuff. And it was just so densely packed with Mario brilliance, like in the background and everything.
Yeah, there was like an antique shop. And that was selling like the sort of old school weapons and the cartridges and stuff. And the music was like an incredible medley of all of the but seamless. Like musically, oh my! Like the Sonic movie was just like the original score, but done on the cello and whatever. But this was really clever rearrangement of everything. The detail. I think this could be.
It's stupid, man. Like honestly, I was worried. I was worried about this film. I enjoyed the last 2 trailers. Don't get me wrong, but it's still like, what is this going to look like? But just in that one clip of the movie, it's like, wow, this is. It's delicious.
And it's not like for those that haven't watched it, I'd really recommend you go and sort of find it. And I think it might have fell through the cracks a little bit, because if you're looking for Game Awards game trailers, then you're probably not quite hitting what you need to search for to find it. But there was a clip of the Mario movie, which wasn't really necessarily like a huge pivotal clip. I think it's just sort of Mario bopping about the Mushroom Kingdom and this, but you're going for like a street market with selling different things and whatever. But the detail in it and everything like that it's to die for, really. And so how they're going to deal with some of the big moments of the, like, it's got me like, I'm desperate to see this now, which is it's just a great feeling. It's good to feel excited about a video game movie. But we had a question last week actually about this. We touched on it a minute ago with the God of War thing. But what's the best video game movie? And I'm like looking at this, and I'm already thinking this has got the potential to go all the way.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah.
I can't. And you can tell. It's very easy for a company to license out their IP and say, yeah, go make a film. Sure. Nintendo had done that in the past with the other Mario movie.
Yeah.
No one was really happy there.
Yeah.
But I think you can tell that this film has had Miyamoto involvement all over it. And, something magical must have happened because they hired, they have hired, not hired, I don't know if the right word to say hired, but they have bestowed a title on Chris Meledandri from Illumination.
Yeah.
As a creative fellow at Nintendo as well, which is, that's the same title as Miyamoto, I think, in terms of what his
he is a creative fellow actually, because it was his birthday, wasn't it, recently? And I remember looking up to see his wide list of contributions, and I remember that being his official title now.
I think something magical must have happened there, and it's clear just looking at, you can just take a still from that clip and be like, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot in the most consumable, best way. And I think that's one of the films that's going to have, we talk about games having replay value, but I think the rewatch value for this film, in terms of people spotting everything everywhere all at once, is going to be huge. And I think I wouldn't mind seeing it a few times in the cinema as well.
Yeah. What a cool, exciting thing. So that stood out to you. Is there anything else that really awards or trailers, really? Anything that you were like,
it's really hard. I'm not going to talk about the awards because I don't feel like they were actually just given any life. The thing that seemed to stand out were overlong speeches, which, sorry, that is not a criticism of me, by the way. I think everyone should have the time to talk, especially when so much time is being spent showing trailers of games. And, Al Pacino being like, I don't play games. And I can't see the teleprompter, and it's just like, oh my god. Anyway, so the awards didn't stand out to me as much as pushing, which is a shame. The thing that did stand out to me about the awards was the amount of awards in quick succession just given out on the side of the screen coming in. Do you know what I mean?
Again,
Rayman, sorry, not Rayman, but Rabbids Sparks of Hope won a game. Davide Soliani was there in the audience. And that was just one that was just read off, and it's like, that's
he's travelled for this. He's travelled.
Yeah, it's like, cool. There's awards won. We move on to the next announcement, and it's like, wow. It's anyway.
Enjoy your sad little life, David. All right. Anyway, on to the trailers. That was a "Come Dine with Me" reference, by the way. I'm not saying David's sad. I've
got a list of things, and I'm going to pick my top three because I don't want to get in the way of whatever you want to say.
Okay.
So outside of the Mario movie, something that excited me that was in the pre-show, so I didn't actually see it, and I only found out that it existed this morning.
I think we're going to say the same thing. Go on.
I don't know if we are, but maybe we will. But this is a Dead Cells and Castlevania crossover.
That's exactly it. That is, to me, wow.
Why is that in the pre-show? That is like
that is huge. Yeah,
I have a feeling there might be a bit of a Konami dig and twist of we don't want that in the main thing because Kojima's going to come on and do Death Stranding too. But
you know what? That's a real thing. That's a real reason. Because I was thinking that's like that could.
It's really cool.
It's incredibly cool. Like what? Honestly, like it was funny to me because in my job I work with people in video games. And my team are different ages. One of them was like, "Oh, what's this that Castlevania's part of?" And then someone else on my team was like, "Oh my gosh, Dead Cells has got this DLC about this thing called Castlevania. Is that the Netflix show?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
folks,
let me tell you, okay, let me tell you about the Belmonts."
Yeah, get out the
Godless
interactive whiteboard.
Yeah, so that was huge because like, yeah, what the heck, like Castlevania as part of a different IP. A beloved IP, right? People love Dead Cells, and it's a Metroidvania. So imagine these are Metroidvanias or whatever. Everyone calls them that. The Vania part of Metroidvania getting involved in your game, and the Dead Cells the funny little character guy with his frying pans and whatnot. Oh, it's great. The trailer was like really tonally a nice mix of Castlevania and Dead Cells. Somehow that's like a perfect. Oh my gosh, really
that's exciting. You know, I enjoyed Dead Cells and I haven't been back to it for a long time. So there's a lot of content they've released that I've missed out on. This is such a hook to get me back in because I've preached so many times here about I'd love a new Castlevania. I'd love a new Castlevania. And we spoke about, FromSoft should do a Castlevania game in a Soul style. But, you know, this scratches a good itch for me. And I think it's very clever, very smart. And I can't wait. I was shocked that it wasn't in the main throes of things. But that's one for me where I'm like, I'm here for this.
Great.
The other game, I'm going to leave that one because I think you might talk about it. It was good for me to see the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor video.
Yeah, as we mentioned previously. Yeah,
I think that is looking great. The trailer doesn't. It's hard to say at this moment how the game feels. Like if they are actually sticking with what made the original game what it was, or if they're branching out to make it a bit more action, traditional action focused. To make it more accessible for people or what. But it's for example, you've got your lightsaber. Right. And you upgraded that in various ways throughout the first game. Those upgrades don't seem to be there. So it's like, what's happened? It's the same lightsaber. What's going on? But on the other side, there does seem to be a really cool second player interaction type thing going on, which reminds me of the Prince of Persia game. Do you know where you had Prince of Persia and the female character Elika, whatever her name was.
God,
and there's I know.
It's good. That's good.
But there does seem to be like a second NPC style character that seems to be important to the story. That just diving over you using the blaster and so on. And I'm interested to see what that opens up. But also. More Star Wars, and I think they have a proven track record of quality with the last one, Fallen Order. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this, and we did get the March date confirmed as well. So.
So it's correct what we saw, and I'm going to just open up here to everyone listening and to you about something, just in case it happens. In which case, we can all start referring to me as some sort of mad clairvoyant or prophet or something. Yeah, well. You just mentioned like quite an important NPC. I just wanted to say this. It's a really weird thing, but I had a really vivid dream 2 days before the Game Awards that as part of the Game Awards, they announced a complete remake of Ico. Can you remember that game, Ico?
Yes.
And it was really, really vivid. And it was Bluepoint on it, who did Shadow of the Colossus, which is the kind of successor to Ico. And it was like, honestly, it was in my head. I saw it and everything, and I was like, and they had the music, they had the heel or whatever from the soundtrack, and it blew my mind, and it didn't happen. So I just wanted to bring that out just in case, right? Just for posterity here.
That isn't something I thought about, but that would be so good. That would be amazing.
It would really make sense, wouldn't it? I think in a lot of ways. But anyway, just wanted to, because when you said a second character like Prince of Persia, it made me think. Remember I had that Ico dream. Yeah. Anyway, so forget about my dreams. All right,
I've got one more that I want to talk about that stood out to me.
Yeah,
that is a game that I did not think would be my jam or would make an impact on me, and that was Crime Boss Rocket City.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting one, isn't it? This is
it's got a very GTA Vice City vibe to it, and it is just packed with all of the best 80s and 90s actors playing characters within the game. So there was it Michael Madsen?
Michael Madsen.
Vanilla
Ice.
Reservoir Dogs, Vanilla Ice, Chuck Norris. It's just packed, and it looks really nice. And it's not the type of game that would usually get me, but I am intrigued to see where it goes now. So it was quite a surprise because it is a brand new venture, and it has the potential to do something cool. But yeah, it took me by surprise how it made me feel.
Yeah, same here, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was very, and I mean this with respect, okay? I know it's not going to sound very respectful. It looked incredibly trashy.
Yeah. Do
you know what else is trashy, though? I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
80s and 90s movies?
Fast food.
Fast
food's trashy.
Yeah.
But you still go there, don't you? You're not, it's about expectation.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch is trashy.
Hell, really cool.
And really cool. Again, he's a bit moody, but other than that.
Speaking of Oscar the Grouch, sorry, Animal was randomly on the Game Awards for no reason.
He was.
He's always a Muppet. It's like, Geoff, you love the Muppets. That's fine, but there's not really any purpose.
No. You're dead right. Yeah,
it was funny. It was a little bit funny, but it's.
Sometimes I feel like Geoff Keighley is like he's got such vibes of like a DJ that plays a set for himself.
Yeah,
and everyone's there, and they just have to like if you dance to this dance, if you don't. Like, he tries to be he means well, but occasionally it's like imagine in the middle of the DJ set, he just starts playing Mambo No. 5 because he likes it. Or his dad likes it or something. That's what Animal at the Game Awards is, right? Geoff, stop living your dream. Be a professional. No,
but it's also, and sorry, I'm not saying anything about this, but he had the founders of Sierra Online come out to read an award because, he mentioned that, without them, he wouldn't have been given the opportunities he was, so there would be no Game Awards, blah, blah, blah. And I think that is nice, but he casually threw in that they're making a game, but if they are, maybe say something about the game. I don't know. There was a. It's hard, isn't it? Because it's because it is his show, but there are still concessions made to account for paying for the show. Yeah. So it becomes a bit. It's still a bit bewildering.
Yeah,
at the moment as a flow and a full show.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't want to take himself away from it, but shouts out to him and yeah, that was interesting. Sierra Online, one of the most prestigious.
I left some games out of this because I want to hear what you think. What took you?
Okay. I'll just get this out of the way first because in yesteryear. On another podcast, I once talked about my unpopular opinions on video games, and I have a very unpopular opinion. And Andre, I had a very unpopular opinion, and unfortunately for me, the video where I talk about my unpopular opinions got 2.4 million views. So if you searched my name for the longest time, the first thing that would come up is me disappointing the internet with my unpopular opinions. So I'm just going to bring it up now. So it's all out of the way.
We could do with the views, right?
I don't really like Bioshock. I don't know why, and I know that I'm wrong, but I just don't like it. I don't care.
I don't, and I worked at 2K
this is
on Bioshock.
Oh, there we go. So... Oh my god, this is the best ammo I could ever have.
It's very important that when you work somewhere, it's not necessarily that you like it, but you understand the reasons why people do, and you understand the reasons why people don't, because that will come in handy of trying to rectify that, right? Yeah. But I think at the time, I think visually they were doing something, and it was a transition in the industry, right, where narrative was starting to come more into the fold, and it was very rare for games to have big twists at the end, right? And this had one that was kind of going throughout the whole thing. Yes. It was kind of like a shock at the time. But it's compare it to Saw, right? Like at the time, no one saw that twist coming at the end of Saw, and it was like, oh my god, this is the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that has become twee and tired now, and expected.
Exactly. So it depends on at what point you got into this and like how much respect you've got to give back. So anyway, this is all a precursor to the fact that there was an announcement of quite an exciting bit of news for fans of Bioshock, because Ken Levine, the guy who's pretty much the brains behind the operation, announced a very close comparison with his next game, Judas, which is like lawsuit close, in my opinion. There's plasmids and everything. Art Deco underwater. I was like, how does he get away with it? Anyway, the game's called Judas, if anyone wants to check that out. So my eye was caught by that Dead Cells thing. I thought that was a heck of a way to start the show. And the only thing I've got to say that we haven't just discussed is, imagine any other game being the conduit for Castlevania's return. Because, by the way, the DLC is called Return to Castlevania. People would be up in arms. People would go crazy. Castlevania's back as a DLC for another game. But it never happened. It seems to have the sentiment of everybody, the good sentiment. So I found that really interesting. I just think...
Sorry, just to elaborate on this as well, because you make a very good point. The most easiest thing to do... the thing that's interesting here, and this is why the Dead Cells team must have done something very impressive to win this, is because, if you look at Koji Igarashi, right, one of the main people behind Castlevania, he left Konami and he worked on Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, and then there was like 2 retro style games that were made as Curse of the Moon and Curse of the Moon 2. You would think, and don't get me wrong, I think they got to feature one of the characters from Castlevania as a bonus character in the game, and Dracula was in there as a side character, but it wasn't Dracula. You would think that would be the perfect place to go to do a Castlevania themed thing, because the structure of the games are fundamentally the same. Let's not lie.
Absolutely.
So the fact it has gone to Dead Cells, that's taken me by surprise, but I'm also excited about it as well, because
that they had to work for that. That wasn't just given to them,
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I mean, I'm not particularly interested in it. I mean, I am, but I don't feel an excitement. But I just know it's going to be good. As Hades 2 was announced, and I know that'll do well.
Yes.
So it's strong and steady that. But do you want to know what really I hate that I fell down this trap. I hate that I've been so obvious with it. But honestly, Death Stranding 2, it really, Death Stranding for me, I played it day one.
Yeah.
In the midst of the biggest hype machine going. It was huge amount of hype. And the game almost disarms you immediately by saying, listen, mate, walk up this hill slowly. All right. And then do it again for 40 hours with a bit of Mads Mikkelsen thrown in. By the end, and it is very narrative heavy. Like I was, the same reasons I have a bit of an issue with God of War. I love Death Stranding. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite there, you think, but I love it. And the more I think about Death Stranding, the more the rose-tinted glasses make it what was a great experience, an almost perfect experience, to the point where I yearn for it. I'm like, I want to go back and do the whole thing again. I'm watching that Death Stranding 2 with, oh my God, I saw sand in there. I saw a completely different geographical location. And the environment is the main character in Death Stranding. Not trying to sound too chin-strokey, but basically that Nordic moss-covered set of land that you're in becomes the kind of the heart and soul of the whole story, really. And there's a couple of beaches here and there. But listen, that Death Stranding 2, it was perfect. It gave loads away whilst giving nothing away. It asked as many questions as it answered. And it's just Kojima doing it again. And I'm not a massive Kojima fan, but I'm not. I'm really not. I don't really think what he did with Metal Gear Solid 4 deserved as much credit as he got. But Death Stranding,
I haven't played Death Stranding yet. And I am at a point now where I really want to. Oh, yeah. And I think I will, because it's just here. It's just here constantly being like, Death Stranding? You want to play Death Stranding? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I might do. And, seeing the Death Stranding 2 trailer was also nice. What I do appreciate, in a way, what I do appreciate is, one, that the first game was about making connections and how each player's journey feeds into a greater scope and sense of things.
Yeah.
And it was I think Kojima hailed it as a
Strand
game.
Strand game, yeah.
What I do like is that theme carried across to the trailer for DS2 was we made the connections, but was it a mistake? And I love I love what is being played at a human level with that. I'm just like, that interests me. That conversation interests me.
I rolled my eyes at the end. We're at the end, and this is very, 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 very minor spoilers. Really, really not a big deal. But at the end of the Death Stranding 2 trailer, it says, "It wasn't actually the company you thought it was. It was a private sector," which is the most anime bullshit ever. It was complete Neon Genesis. It was actually a private organization. Well, funny. Anyway, I'll just rattle off.
PMC.
Really, really funny that. So, but I love that. To be honest, that was the most excited about. I'll tell you what, though. I'll give you three more, and I'll really, really go through them quick. Nightingale. Really excited when I first saw that in June. It's an open world kind of survival-y, these Rust-like, these, they're a recipe for disaster, these games, because they nearly always are half-baked, and they end up being quite well. But this is the one, if you can't remember, that it was like that Victorian era looking weird Western hybrid, and there was people Mary Poppins in around.
That's
the one. Realm Walker's Junior. So I actually, can I tell you something? I work in marketing, and I don't ever give them what they want. I never sign up to a mailing list. The whole of E3, the only game I signed up to a mailing list for was this one. I don't know why, but anyway. And so and there's some gameplay that went online the same day as this trailer. So if you watch the trailer and you like it, you'll actually have a little bit of a proper deep dive. So that looks good. Anyway, also, God, I don't like that. I can't help myself, but Lords of the Fallen looked amazing. That's the Souls but it looks ace. It looks like looks like what I kind of wanted Scorn to be. There's lots of like body horror structural stuff, but looks brilliant. And then here I've got to end it on, of course. You know what I'm going to end on, do you? I think I actually have to do. Maybe I'll surprise you, but Armored Core.
Oh no, yeah, of course. So much so that that I saw the title go on the screen. And straight away, I just wanted to go and drink a Rubicon. I was like, I could go for a Rubicon right now.
I really love Rubicon. So, Armored Core. So, for those that don't know what it is, it's a mech game. Don't worry about it, mate. No one knows what a mech game is. But listen, the point is, right, this is FromSoft doing it, who won, by the way, Game of the Year. And their last game won Game of the Year. And their last game won Game of the Year. And they made bloody Dark Souls. So, the point that I'm trying to make is, these lot have been kind of stuck on the dark fantasy, open world, disciplinarian, journey for a while. They had a little bit of a flirt with Shinobis in 2019 with Sekiro. Otherwise, though, they've been pretty much swords and shields the whole time, fireballs.
Yeah.
So and so much so though that they've gained an incredible momentum, incredible critical acclaim, an incredibly annoying fan base that I am part of, unfortunately, and they've kind of become the face of video game evangelism. Everyone's like, oh, if you play Dark Souls, the Souls like blah blah blah. That's how influential it's been. So when now they're going back to a completely different thing, a vehicular combat game with mechs, sci-fi. Well, first of all, what are they going to learn from this last decade? What's it going to do to the landscape? Is it going to mean that there's going to be loads of like core likes, Armored Core likes?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think Armored Core 3, I think, and Armored Core for Answer were Miyazaki's first games that he worked on,
good
right?
Knowledge, good knowledge. He led on. I think he had something to do with King's Field before that, but yeah, like, he led on them, right? Exactly. Yeah. So it's interesting because he's learned a lot since then. He's become this guy like Miyazaki, like Ghibli's or Ghibli's Miyazaki. He's become this. Yeah. He's synonymous with quality, right? To the point where he's like the Walt Disney of Souls, right? His stamp means everything. So the fact that he's
Disney of Souls,
if Walt's involved. So the point is, this is a huge, huge departure in space and time from these Souls games. It's a completely different genre. It's not going to be a Souls-like in a mech.
No.
So FromSoft, that's what they're known for. It's like when Bethesda game studios, they do one thing. And when they step away and do like a Fallout 76, it caused a commotion. So I'm incredibly interested in this, and I'm not that interested in mechs. I've just mentioned Neon Genesis Evangelion like 3 times.
Yeah,
and I do have an affinity for it. I love it. It's like one of my favorite things ever. But because it's like a inversion of the trope, I don't really like this mech stuff. Just don't get it. Don't get the Gundam thing. So I'm well interested in this because I'm not interested in it, if you know what I mean. But it's by people who it's like your favorite
people
bands.
that you know can make a game, right?
Yeah,
and get the feel.
Yeah, it's like if you're a big heavy metal head and your favorite metal band in the world and you love everything they've ever done, and they go, you know what, we're going to make an R&B, we're going to make a Drake cover album. You're like, I would never listen to it normally, but because it's you, I've got an affinity towards it. So that's what it is.
No one knows this, but we spoke about it before this, but that's exactly what is going on with me tonight. I'm going to go to London, going to go see Mark Tremonti from, used to be in Creed, is one of the main guys in Alter Bridge, has his own side project, has written a bloody book, which is great. But he set up a charity called Take a Chance on Charity, and his daughter was born with Down syndrome, so he's tried to take as much as he can to do something to support that cause. So randomly, you have this metal rock man known as a guitarist, does have a really good voice as well, stepped out of his comfort zone, teamed up with the surviving members of Frank Sinatra's band to do a Tremonti Sinatra cover album, and it's amazing. And I'm going to go see that live tonight, and I can't wait.
That's fantastic.
It's exactly your point that you just made.
Well, there we go. Exactly. So Mark Tremonti and Sinatra Band is the armored core of music.
Yeah.
And you can quote us on that.
It's the Walt Disney of Sinatra.
So there we go. So anyway, that's what took my attention really, and I think that was kind of it's quite funny because I saw a lot. Now I can't tell if I'm in an echo chamber, but the Elden Ring won Game of the Year, and Armored Core seemed to have like one of the biggest discussions on it. So it's just From Software. No one stays at the top forever, but it was very interesting to me. I did fancy that Final Fantasy 16 as well, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, I was going to say there are two. There are two things that I think probably underwhelmed, and I think it's hard for me. I was underwhelmed by the Final Fantasy 16 trailer because I have no idea what the hell is going on, unfortunately, and I'm like,
that's how I felt too. Cool. A bit of confusion, really. Yeah. And confusion leads to apathy. It sounds like Yoda again. Apathy leads to but
Dark Souls.
Yeah. but you're right. I wanted to care. Oh God, I wanted to care. I've got the appetite for a new Final Fantasy game, but I just left like, oh, bye.
Yeah. The most knowledge I have about the game is that the main guy is called Clive. Clive, the protagonist. Anyway, that is what it is. I'm sure we'll talk about Final Fantasy 16 more and more over time. Yeah. But the other thing as well, where my whelm was significantly under, was Crash Team Rumble. It had a really awkward intro where Crash Bandicoot descended from the sky and then had some skits back and forth. And I think the skit in that is, there was the very famous thing from way back in time where Crash Bandicoot turned up at Geoff Keighley's door, right?
It's like a vaguely threatening Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very interesting that they've decided to say, hey, let's make a team-based party game, essentially. Not necessarily a party game because it is still actiony platformy, but it was just something that I don't think has hit anyone in the right way. And I was like, it's a shame. It's a shame because who wants to play as Dingo Dial? You spent all your years playing Crash Bandicoot as a Bandicoot, as Crash or Coco, and sometimes you play as Cortex, right?
Wait.
But now it's like you're at a disadvantage.
Dingo Dial is
Who wants to play as Dingo Dial?
Right,
that's the title for this episode now. But it is just the thing of what's natural about that?
I talk about Crash games, and everyone remembers Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing was great.
I had this like love with Crash Bash, right?
Crash Bash,
which is like some like Mario Party kind of Crash thing. And when I heard it was like a multiplayer sort of like party-ish kind of game, I was like, oh, like a Crash Bash Rumble, I guess, kind of. No. So yeah, I was a bit so yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, the good news is, and this sounds so sneaky and sly, and it's not meant to be like a jab. The great news is, right, you're launching a Crash Bandicoot game, and in people's heads, the bar is very, very low. So, like, really, they don't have to, it's not like they're announcing Crash 5 or whatever. And it's like, I mean, it's in a nice way. There's no expectations for this game. So as long as it's like quite good, people will be pleasantly surprised. So I guess that's good. With an IP like Crash, to have people not like foaming at the mouth for it's probably quite freeing. Maybe like Sonic Frontiers, we said people have kind of gone, oh, it's going to be, and all it needed to do was be all right, and people were really all over that.
It's good, yeah.
So there we go. In fact, Sonic Frontiers nearly won the little fan favorite award. It didn't, but it was like
there was a nice build up, wasn't there, back and forth on the way up to the awards. Yeah.
And it was sort of like, I think it overtook Elden Ring and that. But there we go. So that was the kind of the Game Awards there. I tried my best to mention a couple of the awards, but in kind of the vein of the Game Awards, we just brushed over it because that's what he wants, apparently. So we're doing that. But there we go. So yeah, that was it. An Elden Ring one, by the way. So, okay. Maybe we can speedrun a couple of questions because it'd be nice to interact with our dear viewers.
Actually, sorry, there's one more thing. There is one more thing that I should mention. Speaking of the awards, Bayonetta 3 won an award, which was accepted on stage by Doug Bowser from Nintendo of America.
Shouts out, Doug.
Cool name.
Unless you're Mario.
The thing about this is during the show as well, there was a brand new Bayonetta game announced, which is coming at the start of next year, called Bayonetta Origins, and is an action
top-down,
an action adventure. So it's not traditional Bayonetta, but it's a story within the universe of Bayonetta as a young Cereza. I was going to say Cerveza, but that's beer, isn't it?
Cereza. It's the origin story, isn't it?
It's because that's why it's called Bayonetta Origins, I guess.
That's it. There we go.
It's in the title. We love it. But that was announced. The really cool thing is as well, it was discovered not too long after that if you do a certain series of things within Bayonetta 3, you can actually play a demo for this game.
Oh, brilliant. That is actually brilliant. That I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know
if you check out Game Explain on YouTube, they have a tutorial of how to actually access that. So
that's fun. That's very clever.
That's cool. And I'm surprised no one picked up on it until now.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So good. Thank you very much, everybody. Game Awards over. All right. Question time. We don't have a jingle, so just enjoy the ambience for 3 seconds. Brilliant. It's question time. Okay, we've got some questions. How are we going in for?
How many do we have time for? One?
I reckon 2.
1, 2. Okay. Let's start off with something that we can answer relatively quickly, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, a question. This is from Papa Z.
Okay.
Z. Who will blink first and announce a new format? Where are you with this? I think there's only it's very weird actually because you look at there's a lot of popularity right now surrounding things like Analog Pocket, which is that's not a new console. It is, but it's a way to play your old Game Boy games and so on. And then there is also Playdate, which is a really cool little device, 1-bit system with a cool crank handle, really simple types of gameplay. I think the most logical out of the big three to announce something new will be Nintendo. How they handle that, I don't know. I think Series Xbox are too early. PlayStation are also in the same boat, I think.
Yeah.
And, there's still a lot of life in them. I feel like they haven't all really got into a good rhythm yet. And that's because of just the state of the world and what's been going on, chip shortages and whatnot. I actually think whilst I think Nintendo out of the big three will be the first to announce a new format, I do think we might see a new Steam Deck before that.
That's the sad thing, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, logically, it should be Nintendo because their hardware is the weakest, I suppose, and they haven't stepped up a generation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation, they just put PSVR 2 out, and they're going to be probably putting a lot of time and effort into that. Microsoft are going to just be, I think the new format that they've decided to start is lots and lots of time in court. They're playing the whole new game. They're playing a game of, they're playing real life Game Pass. They're just acquiring companies as quickly as we can download games. So
sometimes you just need an injection of actual danger in your life. Do you know what I mean? It's
absolutely. A couple of $1 billion acquisitions.
We've played the retail market for too long. Let's
Xbox they're always chasing trends, aren't they? But I think they're kind of like scoping down that streaming thing, aren't they? And trying to get that X Cloud up. So Nintendo, I reckon they're the bookies' favorite, to be honest, because and it'll never be something we expect. It'll be something like, I don't know, they'll bring out another Switch with a flip screen or something, and it'll be exactly as powerful as the old Switch, but it'll have a flip screen, and everyone will be like, "What are you doing?" But they just say, and then they'll look at you in the eyes and say, "Whatever we want, baby." Because Nintendo,
like, here we got games.
Yeah, exactly. Just be quiet and play Donkey Kong again, and I'll be like, okay. Right, yeah. So I think it's going to have to be Nintendo, but if one thing we know about Nintendo is they're unpredictable. But yeah, the new format that shocked and delighted the world this year, it's safe to say, is the Steam Deck. So very nice to see Valve, because I think if this question was asked a year ago, I don't think any of us would have said Valve.
No.
So that's beautiful.
Not a chance.
Cool. All right, yeah. And thank you, Papa C. Help yourself to any of the games in the coffers. You're the boss. Do what you want.
Okay. Who is your favorite indie publisher? In brackets, not Wired, of course, and why?
I don't know if did they count as an indie publisher, but you know who are quite impressive to me, and I enjoy a lot of their games is the Swedish company Raw Fury. I'm quite into Raw Fury's titles. They never make like a 10 out of 10 to me, but they make a lot of solid like 8s, and they've been doing some really interesting stuff. They had a couple of announcements at the Game Awards. They did that post-trauma, that PT looking thing.
Yes.
And I don't know if that was on purpose, that the game was PT post-trauma. But they did this incredible game. I discovered them by playing this game called Kingdom, which was this like incredibly meditative game. They've just signed a Moomin game called Snufkin.
Creepy, man.
It is, isn't it? It's something about Moomin. But like, I don't know, I'm drawn in. But they announced a Snufkin game. They just signed that. I actually happen to know somebody who's working on the game. And so when I saw Raw Fury pick up, I was like, oh, good for you. They recently had a huge roguelike hit with Dome Keeper. That was one of the most played games of Next Fest. They did Townscaper. I could go on, but I won't. I think they have picked a lot of decent games. But yeah, that Kingdom 2 Crowns really was the one that got me into it. And then, they've had a couple of hits, Call of the Sea, and if you see one of their games on Game Pass or whatever, you're always like, oh, it's like a seal of approval. It's enough to pull me in. So I'd say Raw Fury, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's a good shout. I think I'm going to say that indie publisher, what are they called? Sony, with that indie game Stray. That's a good meme.
And for anyone who doesn't know what Aaron is making a jab towards, it's the fact that indie publisher Sony won Best Indie Game with their incredibly high budget indie game Stray, beating out some very notable rivals like one-man band Vampire Survivors and two-man band the game Neon White, as well as Tunic. Not really very.
I think Tunic was very hard done by the way. And Neon White, actually.
Neon was great. 100%. So yeah.
But to be serious about this, Sony and Stray aside, which Stray is a nice game. I am hovering around 3.
Okay.
So one is Yacht Club.
Great.
Just because the Shovel Knight games and the games that they have helped publish have pretty much all been bangers.
Yeah, they've become iconic. Shovel Knight is an icon.
Yeah,
right?
I've got Shovel Knight Dig downloaded. I haven't played it yet, but I do want to get into that over Christmas just to see how it is. So there's Yacht Club for me.
Yeah.
Another one would be Platonic Friends.
Good.
They just helped get out Little Gator Game, I think it was, which is a nice cutesy Wind Waker-esque mini Zelda-y game.
Yeah, you're right. It is very Wind Waker.
Again, one that I want to play. And you know, the reason I like them is because they actually really do care about just helping people out. You know, they have been through the hardships of developing and publishing themselves in the past. They've fallen down pitfalls. They've climbed out again and again and again. So the fact that they are just so nice as people to say, yeah, I just want to help you get your game out, help you over the line, share some insights and thoughts. I think that's really, really nice. But I think there was another one as well, but I think I am going to go for Yacht Club.
That's great. I picked Real Fury to try and because I was trying to see what you would say, and I was thinking you was going to say Annapurna because like they've made like I think critically they are probably the most successful indie publisher. So I want to mention them because they really should be. You know, Real Fury I like, but I think I actually prefer Annapurna's output over the last 5 years. Like What Remains of Edith Finch was my favorite game of that year. They did Donut County, Ashen, they republished Journey, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Kentucky Route Zero.
Sayonara Wild Hearts, what game?
Yeah, and this is a film publisher that had a video game division which had red flags all over it, let's be honest. There was really no video game stock going into this. There was a lot of film guys that were curating and picking the games. But, you know, Annapurna did a lot of the work on Stray and Neon White as well. So, so Annapurna Interactive are definitely putting in the work.
Strong.
Yeah, really. So, that's a really, really good question.
Thunderful as well. I think they've got really good potential. Had some good games.
They're on the up and up as well.
Yeah.
Which you'd love to see. So, hey, thank you very much for that question. That's brilliant. And
that's us to the end.
That's it. It took us to the end. So, thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 42 of Wired Unplugged. We'll be back next week for, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but we've got some sort of super cut greatest hits compilation, the medley, the kind of the Sinatra, Tremonti band sort of hit after hit thing of podcast, if you will, over Christmas to keep you company, keep you warm and happy whilst you're enjoying lots of cheese and those demos that we mentioned. But nonetheless, wrap up warm, everybody. Enjoy the Advent calendar, Chocky. Start doing if you haven't done your Christmas shopping, just start it. This is me as your father. I'm telling you all, just get it done. All right,
thanks, Dad.
Yeah, there we go. Stay safe, everybody. Goodbye, Aaron. You're the best. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week.
Wired Unplugged.